Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. We're going to uncover what I think is a literally revolutionary shift in how we approach mindfulness, and honestly, how we heal our totally exhausted modern brains. Look, we're living in an era of just unprecedented, high pressure information flow, right? Our brains are bombarded every single day by algorithms, data, notifications, just an endless stream of digital smog. The old ways we used to find peace, they just aren't cutting it anymore. So today, we're exploring a seriously fascinating concept from Eastern philosophy called Hainyan. It completely flips the script on how we find tranquility in our crazy, chaotic world.
To start us off, I want you to think about a super familiar frustration. Why is it that trying to meditate with your eyes closed often makes your anxiety scream even louder? Seriously, have you ever sat down, shut your eyes, tried to just focus on your breathing, and suddenly felt like you were standing in the dead center of a mental hurricane? Yeah, you're absolutely not alone. We've always been taught that closing our eyes blocks out the world. But for the modern brain, it often does the exact opposite. So here is the absolutely crucial point. Closing our eyes in today's world instantly activates what neuroscientists call the default mode network, or the DMN. Think of the DMN like the neon lights of a massive city just suddenly flipping on at midnight. 1,000 years ago, an ancient monk closing their eyes faced a quiet room and a tranquil mind. But us, shutting off your external senses forces you into a brutal cage match with all of your digital stress. The DMN just dumps all those fragmented bits of information, the social media comparisons, the daily anxieties, right back onto your mental lap. You aren't fighting your life. You're fighting a modern brain that literally just doesn't know how to stop processing. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll be covering 1. Mental smog and modern brains. 2. What is Hainyan? 3. The healing logic of resonance. 4. Catching daily escape windows. 5. Calibrating the life tuning fork. And finally, 6. The realm of universal fusion. Starting with Section 1, Mental Smog and Modern Brains. Moving right along to Section 2, what exactly is Hainyan? Imagine two people sitting by a stream. One has their eyes tightly shut, battling their inner thoughts, trying to force focus and just escape upwards. The other person? They're sitting there with their eyes wide open, simply watching the willow branches sway. And over time, that second person stops observing the wind and actually begins to flow with it. The boundary between themselves and the world just disappears. That beautifully illustrates the paradigm shift of Hainyan. Instead of fighting the noise in a dark room, Hainyan asks us to open our eyes and merge with the flow of the world. You see, Western philosophies often focus on transcendence, escaping the physical, rising above the noise, detaching. But Hainyan, which is rooted in Eastern wisdom, argues that we shouldn't try to escape the world because we are a part of it. By opening your eyes and letting the massive, real-world information flow in, your default mode network simply cannot compete. The overwhelming presence of the physical world actually quiets all that internal chatter. Now, what's really interesting here is how Hainyan differs from the popular concept of the flow state. You've probably heard of flow, right? It's that incredible feeling when an athlete or a painter is completely 100% absorbed in what they're doing. But flow requires a task. It's like a laser beam of focus. Hainyan, on the other hand, is entirely boundless. You don't need a specific task to achieve it. You literally just exist. You can be drinking tea, taking a walk, or doing absolutely nothing. It's a state of universal openness rather than narrow concentration. That brings us to Section 3, the healing logic of resonance. Let's dive into the fascinating physics and biology of why this open-eyed integration actually heals us. This isn't just poetic philosophy, it's grounded in how frequencies interact in the physical world. Imagine two identical tuning forks sitting on a table. If you strike one, the other will naturally begin to vibrate and sing without you ever even touching it. That's sympathetic resonance. Well, the human body and mind operate on frequencies too. When we open ourselves up, our internal tuning forks sympathetically resonate with the vast, grounding frequencies of the natural world, effortlessly clearing out that mental smog. When we're stressed out, our internal frequencies are jagged, they're blocked. But when we allow ourselves to integrate with the environment, whether that's the rustle of leaves or the rhythm of rain, we synchronize with the Earth's massive stabilizing frequencies. Next up is Section 4, Catching Daily Escape Windows. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds great, but I'm incredibly busy. Well, the beauty of Hainyan is that you don't have to schedule it. If you want to enter this state, simply follow these 6 gentle steps, starting with relaxing your gaze and ending with letting the world's rhythm bring you peace. Notice that the very first step isn't closing your eyes, it's relaxing them. When you feel overwhelmed by a dark storm of thoughts, quickly opening your eyes lets the light in, kind of like a sharp sword cutting through your anxieties. You listen to the sounds without analyzing them.
You physically let gravity hold your weight. You let your thoughts flow like a river, neither pushing them away nor chasing after them. And eventually, a deep, unforced quiet will just descend.
You don't need some expensive retreat for this. Nature has hidden these little escape windows throughout your day. It could be the tiny gap when a web page loads, or the physical reset of a good yawn. We usually ruin these moments, right? When a page takes 3 seconds to load, what do? We grab our phones and stuff more digital garbage into our brains. He Neon teaches us to use that 3-second lag to look out a window and reset. Use the moment right after a chaotic meeting to just let the noise settle. Use the deep sigh after a long task to fully yield to the present moment. These are your daily escape hatches, so use them.
Moving to Section 5, Calibrating the Life-Tuning Fork.
Once you master these daily windows, we enter a more advanced stage. Because we are all different, the exact external frequency that heals you might be entirely different from the one that heals me. Whether your internal energy categorizes into traditional states of wood, fire, earth, metal, or water, there is a perfect external frequency waiting to heal you. For example, if your mind is racing and overstimulated, what traditional systems call fire energy, sitting in a dark room will drive you crazy. Instead, you need a high-order visual frequency to match and organize your racing mind, like the intricate layered light in a Monet painting. Or if you're feeling tense and chaotic, which is metal energy, the clear, resonant strike of a pure copper bell can instantly bring order to your internal chaos. It's all about finding the exact frequency in the world that perfectly resonates with your specific state.
And finally, Section 6, the realm of universal fusion. This is the ultimate evolution of the practice, where the boundaries of the self completely vanish. We're moving from simply seeking refuge in nature to becoming one with the entire spectrum of life. At this master level, even the chaotic noise of a crowded city or a busy market doesn't drain you. Actually, scratch that. It's more like your body uses it as fuel to power your own deep tranquility. You are no longer picky about your environment. You don't need a quiet forest to find peace. The honking cars, the chatter of a busy coffee shop, the sensory overload of modern life, they literally stop being the enemy. When you dissolve the rigid boundaries of your ego, you realize that all of this noise is just massive, roaring energy. And instead of building a wall to block it out, you open the gates and let that incredible energy power your own internal peace. I want to leave you with this incredibly empowering thought. When you stop fighting the noise and start integrating with it, how much peace could you find in your chaotic day? What if the noisy, distracting world isn't an obstacle to your peace, but actually the very tool that can create it? The next time you feel overwhelmed, don't close your eyes and fight the storm. Open them. Let the light in. Let the noise wash over you. And watch as the chaos of the world becomes your absolute greatest source of calm.